So there's a couple tricks here. First of all, you have to know where you're generally safe and where you're not safe. This is for the beginners. The first part of this. You're fairly safe with your hands on the stomach. You're fairly safe pressing under the armpits. You're not really safe when your hands start coming up onto the chest. And you're not really safe with your hands on the mat. So ideally, you want your elbows tucked and you want good posture. You don't want to be so far away that you're off balance, you're going to get swept. And you don't want to be so close that your opponent is really controlling your head with a tight grip. So you want to be right around here. Now let's change the angle over here. One of the first things you learn in Jiu-Jitsu is how to open up the guard. And traditionally it's here, and you put your knee between the hips, you come back, you arch your back, and you turn. And that's decent, especially with the uniform, because you can grab. No-gi, it's a little bit slippery. It's a little bit harder, in my opinion. Especially when you have someone who just refuses to open their guard. They're going to hold on to their guard for dear life. And maybe they have long legs. You're going up against someone who's a little bit taller than you. And you're here, but your hands keep slipping. And you're getting here, and they're just, the legs aren't opening. So this is a good trick for you, and it works well, no-gi. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take both my arms, and I'm going to drop them right under the leg in front of me. This is just the first step right here. Now, she doesn't have an armbar. She doesn't have triangles. She's a little confused right here. What to do next? What to do next? Now I'm just going to bring my knee back, and I'm going to drop my grip, and I'm going to get double unders. Now, to pass no-gi, I want to kill the hips. So I'm going to bring the hips up on me right here like this. Now the trick is, for my no-gi guard pass, I don't want the knees to hit the ground. If the knees hit the ground, my opponent can start to turtle up and escape. So I'm going to pick a side. I'm going to pass to this right side. I'm going to make sure that this knee doesn't hit the ground. So I'm going to start to pivot here like this. Now let's change our angle. On this side, I make sure that this knee can't hit, and I start to drive my elbow towards the ground. I get this little twist going on. Sometimes you can control there. You don't have to. You're just going to get the side control. So let's look from the beginning here. All that I want to do in the beginning is make enough space to get both my hands in. Now remember, one of the biggest rookie mistakes is just putting that one hand in. You're going to get triangle, so don't do that. Both or none. Both or none here. So I come here. I start to make that little bit of space, but my opponent isn't giving anything up. But there we go. I've got enough. I'm going to dip both in here like this, like I'm curling a weight. Now, you've got to be tough here because they can squeeze and they can still be strong. But what you're going to do is you're going to kind of bring your knee back, and you're going to start making the space to come underneath here like this. Now, there's going to be a little bit of a scrap where your opponent is going to be trying to keep the legs heavy. They're going to be trying to keep the hips low. What you want to do is come in, and then you either bring your opponent to you if they're a little bit lighter. If they're a little bit heavier, you want to bring yourself to your opponent, but you want to kill the hips right here. And now I get to pick which way I want to go. Last time I went this way. Let's say I wanted to go to my left. I'm going to make sure that this knee doesn't hit the ground, and I'm going to pivot here like this. So I'm starting to put a twist, putting my weight a little bit more. My elbow's going to start to slide here. There's the twist. I can catch if I want to. Here we go. I'm in side control. So that's a pretty good one. Let's look at some other options here. One of the best options, I'll scoot back a little bit, is going to be to stand up. But people get afraid to stand up for a couple reasons. They feel like they're going to lose their balance and that they're going to fall. But by standing up, you get away from the submissions. I'm going to get away from the triangles. I'm going to get away from the arm bars. It's a trade. I'm going to go into the territory where my opponent might be able to hit a sweep or a single leg or something like that. But I'll take that trade. I'll work to fight the sweep and avoid the submission game. So how do I stand up here? I don't exactly have a sleeve to control, so it can be a little bit tricky for some people. There's going to be some different ways to stand up. One of the ways that I like to do it is I'll just control a wrist. I'll just grab a wrist right here like this. I like the here because it's harder to escape. Sometimes if you grab here, there's a weakness there where they can escape. Whereas if I grab here like I'm holding a sword, I can at least momentarily control. And now it's just stand up. Believe in that stand up. I'm gonna pivot here like this. That's the trick. Where people mess this up a lot is they take a step without the pivot, and then they try to stand from here, and I can feel in my hips, it's awkward, and then they come back and they give up. So what I want to do is I want to step, and I want to pivot, and I want to stay head tall right here like this, and then I just stand up. Now a lot of the times I'm just going to stand up here, hips forward, and this is taking a lot of the power out of the legs here. A couple things. My opponent is either going to stay low or they're going to crunch up. And right now my opponent's low. That's fine. So what might they want to do? Maybe a double ankle, exactly like that, right? To counter this kind of a sweep, I need to keep my hips strong and driving forward here like this. So let's just say she hasn't opened up her legs yet, but go ahead and you can grab the double ankles. And I'm just going to break this down here. I'm keeping a strong frame. I'm going to turn in with my hip, and I'm going to drive deep. That's the trick here, is I want to turn until I can pop the grip out here like this. And then I can start doing the same thing. A lot of the times I'll just drop back low again, drive in, and pass. Now there's a bunch of different options. I'm just going to keep it a little bit basic here for right now. I don't want to just step with no control because that's when they start to take control. So I want to do something to control the wrist. So let's just stay right here. Now, more advanced, sometimes you can just jump up, but let's get some control going on here. So I grab, I step in, I pivot, I stand up, and I start driving my hips like I'm leaning back like this. Okay, I'm going to choose my side. I'm not going to hang out here. I'm not going to hesitate. The longer I stay here, the more likely it is that my opponent's going to get some game going on. So relatively quickly, I'm going to get a deep bite. I'm going to run my hand down my spine. I'm going to turn and get a deep bite. Use my hips to open up. Now whatever you like from here. Maybe it's standing. If you want to just go back to the double unders, I'm just going to drop low, get my connection, and pass. Just the same as I did before. Now let's just say she's got a super tight grip, and this time I'll have you crunch up on me. Okay? Sometimes, ironically, it's harder to pass the smaller people's guards because they're going to hold on to you like a monkey. The heavy people, they've got to fight the weight, and they're going to drop easier than the smaller people. So we've got to be ready for the small people too. So when I'm here like this, when I start to stand up, she crunches up with me. Yes, okay, so I keep the distance. That's the main thing, is I don't let her get as close to me as she wants. I keep that distance. I don't want her here. Here, it's going to be frustrating. So I initiated the movement. I'm going to keep that space a little bit. I'm going to keep pushing the chest, and I'm going to keep strong. I'm going to take my hand, and I'm going to put it right here. If there's a uniform or anything, I don't want to grab where it slides. I just put my palm in here. I start to bounce. I'm going to keep it low, and I'm going to drop heavy. This is just one suggestion of an easy way to pass. But I stand up, and I bounce out that knee. Don't let your opponent close the distance. So, again, control here. Again, I'm not going to let her close. If she's super close, I'm not going to stand yet. I'm going to fight to open up. I'm going to disengage, and when the moment's right, I'm going to come up, and I'm going to keep that distance. I'm going to keep her framed out. My hand comes here like this, and then the bounce. Okay, now right away, I like to split here like this, and I'm going to staple a leg. And that's just one option. You can back step out of it. One option to break the guard. Let's look at one more while we're here. While we're studying some no-gi passing options. Another really fun one is to trap the hand behind the back. It's a good option for you. You can do it like a big guy, just feeding the hand, or you can do it like a smaller opponent and moving your body. And this is what I mean. So you're here, right away you want to get used to fighting the little battles. And what I mean is, before you pass, you're going to have to learn how to deal with the hands. They're going to be trying to grab your neck. You don't want that to happen. They're going to be trying to grab your wrist. You don't want that to happen. They're going to try to close the distance. You want to learn to keep them away while keeping your base. Now, this is a good one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to force the hand to the mat right there like that. Now, some of you are strong enough to just right away come up and feed and get control. If you are, that's great. Do that. For me, and for Vanessa as well, we roll with people who are a lot bigger than us, and it's going to be hard to just push the arm. So what we do is a little bit of a trick. I'm going to make my legs light by driving in, and then I'm going to move my whole body and her body over her hand that's isolated. So I get it right here like this, and then I come up, and then I move our bodies, and then I grab right there. Okay, so now I have a nice tight grip. Now, because I have the nice tight grip, I can do something that I wouldn't normally do. I'm going to reach through and I'm going to start to cradle the head here. I'm going to step up. I'm going to pick up the head and the arm right here like this, and everything's really stuck, huh? So I've got her arm and I've got the head. Now I'm going to be careful, because if you do this like a savage, you're going to hurt your opponent's shoulder. But now I'm going to start to push that knee just the same as before. The arm is trapped. I'm going to grab, and I'm going to hug, and there's my shot out. So I'm going to kind of cradle the head, and I'm going to pick my opponent up. This is a good one. So I start to press down here like this. Be careful of the omoplata from here. You're just going to have to kind of play around with it. If you roll with someone a lot better than you and more flexible, you might get caught. But the more you study, and if you see it coming and you're quick with this, you can kind of mitigate that risk a little bit. So I'm going to come up here like this, and I'm going to shove right away. I'm going to hug the head. I'm going to get her close to me right here like this. Now, it might look like maybe she's got a sit-up sweep or something, but she's got no base right here to push off of. So now all I have to do is stand. I'm going to take my stance right here like this. I'm going to come up, and I've got her. Okay, now I'm going to start to focus on this knee. Bounce, 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 bounce. It drops. You see, you have a point where you could drop someone heavy if you wanted to. Come here, cross face, pass the guard. So those are some of my favorite no-gi options. Hopefully that helps you guys out. Thank you, Professor Vanessa. Thank you guys for joining us today. We really appreciate your support, and I hope you learned something. Thank you very much. Have a great day.